Hello, everyone. Perfect. Hi, Shanti. We have Chi here. Hi.
Hi, there we go.
Hi,
Hello,
ladies. How are
guys.
you?
Good.
So good to see you guys.
Hi,
Same.
guys.
It's great to see you, ladies.
We'll
Good to
give
see you
it
all. Super excited about today.
Yeah.
absolutely.
And happy World Skin Health Day.
Happy World
Yay!
Skin Health Day.
Happy World Skin Health Day.
I'm
This
so
is
happy that you
exciting.
ladies have done this with me.
Thank you for
Um,
having us.
Yeah, thank
Definitely
you.
personal for me, especially going through eczema on my face all the time. Probably the worst
Yeah.
that I could say
Mhm.
I've been through.
Yeah.
Because when it lasts for 2, 3 months, the only thing that gets you through that is know that it's going to go away at some point.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that we're talking about this together.
Same.
We'll give it maybe 3, 4 minutes before we get
Okay.
started, just to see how many people join us before you ladies get to talking. But we are here in Toronto. Shanti, you're in Toronto too.
Did we lose Shanti?
I think we lost her. Uh-oh. Let's see if I can get her. Oh, she's back. Hi. We lost you
Oh,
for a sec.
yeah, I'm not sure what happened. Sorry about that.
It's
No,
okay.
it's okay.
It just bumped off.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us as we get ready to prepare for our live with Chi and Shanti.
I don't see Chi either.
Oh, she's here.
Oh,
Oh, is she? Okay.
can she hear me?
Yeah, we
I
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you. I just can't see you. Okay.
Okay.
Hmm. I see both of you guys, so I think we are good
I
to
see
go.
you, Shanti, but I was not seeing you before, so I don't know if that's why.
Oh,
Hi,
that's
everyone,
interesting.
that's just joining us. Happy World Skin Health Day.
Okay, Darcy
Perfect.
said she can see all of us.
Okay, great. Thank you, Darcy. Uh,
Maybe
Perfect.
that's
Thank you all for joining and being patient with us as we get this started. I think we can maybe wait another minute and then we can kick off.
Perfect.
sounds good.
We're getting the okays. Where's everyone tuning in from?
I'm in Toronto. Chi, you're in.
I'm in Florida.
Oh, nice. I'm in Toronto as well.
Oh, I didn't know that. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Hmm.
And our viewers, Toronto, okay.
Oh, nice. Another Torontonian in the house. Houston.
Oh,
Seattle.
Seattle. Ooh,
Very
Houston.
cool. New York. Awesome.
Ooh.
How's the weather in Toronto?
It's nice. It's summertime here now,
Okay,
so we're
perfect.
finally getting into the nice part of the season
The
in
season, yeah.
Toronto. Yeah.
Yeah,
Alrighty, so I guess I'll introduce myself. I'm Sarina, the founder. This is our very first series. I'm excited that we get to launch it on World Skin Health Day, especially given having eczema on my face and one of the worst places. That's sometimes hard to go through. Don't want to do certain things. Don't want to go certain places. don't want to see certain people. But one of the things is just getting up and knowing that it will go away at some point and things will get better. So I'll pass it on to Shanti, who's our psychotherapist that's joined us today, and Chi, who is our host, who's very familiar in the eczema TSW space, and she's been very supportive throughout this. So I'm excited to let them start.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Sarina, for having me tonight, along with Chi, as you mentioned. I think we're all here on World Skin Health Day to really promote the health of our skin, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, and all of that good stuff holistically that, you know, we want to just hold our skin in today. And I feel really honored to be here tonight. Professionally as a registered psychotherapist. I have my own space called My Shanti Space Wellness Therapy. And that's where, you know, I hold space for clients from racialized immigrant communities who come in and unpack their trauma. And, you know, with Sarina inviting me tonight to on this important discussion, it's also personal because like herself and Chi, I've lived most of my entire life with eczema and just having these creams and going through a lot of struggles with my skin. And right now I'm in an active skin flare up. It's actually currently healing, and it took some kind of courage tonight to even wear something sleeveless to kind of expose my skin a little bit, right? But you know how that can be. Sometimes you just want to cover up and isolate away, but I'm stepping into my courage tonight to, you know, share the vulnerability in this safe space. And just before I pass it off to Chi, I just wanted to put a quick disclaimer out there that while tonight is, you know, it's about sharing stories and providing insights to one another, we want to make sure that you're going, and if you have any personal issues with your skin, please see a medical professional for that, right? Tonight is the time to just, you know, provide some strategies and help, and hope that some of these things land with you. So I'm looking forward to our discussion.
Awesome. Same here. Thank you so much, Shanti, for being here. And thank you, Phoilex, for putting this all together. My name is Chi, and I'm an eczema advocate as well as a TSW warrior. I also do a lot of advocacy and raising awareness for topical steroid withdrawal. I've had eczema my entire life. And then once I started my TSW journey in 2019, I found a safe space online to just kind of get through this tumultuous situation and healing online and with others and finding communities and finding solutions and finding help and not suffering in silence has been a really big thing for me. So this is really important to create spaces where people can come and have chats and conversations and just open so many rooms for us to feel heard and seen and for us to have a safe space to come and gather. So about a few months ago, I shared an Instagram story on my Instagram. I shared an Instagram story, and Phoilex reached out to me. They were really intrigued with it. They were really moved by it, and that's literally how this live came about. Because I've had a lot of issues with my mental health going through eczema and also topical steroid withdrawal. So I'd like to share the message, and then we can pop into the conversation. And this is what started this idea of us creating a space to talk about what are some ways we can cope and really target our mental health when it comes to skin, not just physically, but also mentally. Um, I wrote, for so long, my skin and my healing journey have been at the center of everything in my life, my energy, my focus, my identity. Navigating TSW consumed so much of my life that now being on the other side of it, I'm realizing just how much space it took up. Now that I finally have the capacity to look beyond my skin, there's this wave of new and very unfamiliar questions surfacing. Who am I outside of this journey? What do I want? What do I desire? As a woman, as a creative, as a human, so much of my identity became wrapped in survival and advocacy. But now there's parts of me that had to be quiet for so long. My womanhood, my softness, my sensuality, my dreams. It's beautiful and it's overwhelming. Healing gave me back my life, but now what? And then I go to say, this is exactly why TSW should be considered a disability. The amount of chaos, interruption, and a complete life disruption I went through is not normal. It's not something anyone should have to face without proper support and care. This has touched every part of my life, my body, my mind, my relationships, my ability to just exist in this world. It took so much from me. And now that I'm finally on the other side, I'm realizing just how much I've had to put a hold just to survive. This is not just a rash. It's not just eczema. It's a full-blown health crisis, and it deserves to be treated as such. So just making space for those like me who can resonate with some of those words and some of those feelings.
Thank you for sharing that. And we really appreciate that. As that note really did spark having you on this series today. So thank you for being so open and
Of
honest. It takes a
course.
lot. It's not easy.
It's not easy. It's not easy, and it's a process, and it's a journey, and it takes a lot of work and, just coming to some hard truths and hard realizations, but being able to sit with it and
Absolutely.
also ask for help and be around others to have conversations like this to, kind of
Absolutely.
smooth that out.
Especially with all the people don't understand is that, oh, it's just your skin. It's not just your skin. It affects so many other things. It could affect you going to work. It could affect your stress level, how you feel. There's so many moving parts to having chronic skin conditions on any level. So I want to kick off, Shanti. Let's get started. And I hope you guys enjoy this.
Great. I think, Chi, you might have some questions for me.
I do. My first question is, how can someone start healing their relationship with their skin if they felt ashamed or frustrated for years?
Okay, so we're getting to the nitty-gritty right away, and you really talk about those two important words, shame and frustration. It's so much of what's involved in this skin journey that we go through and the struggles that come up. And I think what's important for people to realize when you're on this healing journey of, of your skin and the relationship that you have with it, so much of it is focused on the physical, right?
Yeah.
And we're focused on like, oh, I got to fix my skin. It looks horrible. It's
Yes.
all of these things, right? But what people need to realize is there's also an important relationship with our emotional and mental health on this journey. And just as much as we see the scars and wounds on the outside, they're also on the inside. And we need to start to heal that part. And when we start to go internal, then we start to hit those words of shame and frustration. And those are the emotions that we really want to capture and start to unpack with ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So kind of how do we do this, right? One of the first steps I say is self-validation. Self-validation, because we in this community who have suffered, we know that we can't put that validation into other people's hands and in their control. Because guess what? I know Sarina, Chi, all of us have experienced horrible comments, right? Like, oh, what's wrong with your skin, or what's happening to you?
Yeah, people pointing out your flares
Are
and
always asking,
always asking,
yeah.
oh, what's that?
I'm
Or
like,
what's
I
that
don't
on
even
your
want to go
foot?
anywhere because they're
Yeah.
going to be like, I have to explain over and over
Yeah.
again what the problem is,
And
right?
did you try this? And did you try that? And
Oh, really?
well,
We've seen
try
that
this.
before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right? And so when we take back that validation for ourselves, and when we can say to ourselves, I see you, I hear you, I understand you, I know what you're actually going through right now, that's the self-care that we're starting to internalize. So self-validation is going to stream into self-compassion. That's what we need on this journey to battle the shame, to battle the frustrations within that comes up with this. this process that we go through. And honestly, when you can validate yourself and start to bring in the compassion, you're going to start to trust yourself a little bit more. And when you feel like that trust building, then it's the actions. And I think we're going to talk a little bit about some strategies as well. But I really wanted to kind of put this part in, that it's not about the criticism, right, that brings about the shame. It's about the care and compassion. And it's not about like the shame. It's about the strength that our skin does go through, and it bounces back, right? It is resilient, and we just need to care for that resilience in this process.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I love that. Care for the resilience in this process, because you do have to be extremely resilient when your skin is going through cycles and it's going up and it's going down and it's healing and it's getting better. And then it's like you feel like you've hit rock bottom all over again, and just
Mm-hmm.
showing up with some of that compassion and through all of this resilience is a good note. So my second question is, what are your top 3 tips for managing depression and anxiety caused by skin related conditions? Which I personally wasn't aware that I had developed some depression and anxiety due to more so the long standing of going through these symptoms. Like I've had eczema my entire life, so it's really hard now that I'm realizing in retrospect, it's hard for me to feel seen and be seen. And although I do challenge myself a lot in that, a lot of it comes from, me not wanting to be seen, and dealing with the anxiety of people maybe looking at me differently or looking at my flares, even if I'm not flaring. So that creates anxiety, and that creates a lot of different things mentally. So what are your top 3 tips for managing depression and anxiety caused by skin related conditions?
Well, Chi, thank you for asking that question. I think you really nailed it on the head with understanding that it's your self-worth that takes the hit, right? Your self-worth, your self-esteem, your identity, just talking about, being seen and not wanting to be seen because the anxiety is feeling too crippling for you. And just over years and years of building up this type of mentality that even other people reinforce, right?
Yeah.
And we're having to kind of break these patterns, and being here in community together is really important. And sharing these stories is also very, very important to help normalize the conversation
Yeah.
about what we all are going through. Because sometimes some people just have some temporary glitches with their skin, or maybe it's a sunburn. And then there's most of us too, who go through sort of a lifetime of ups and
Yeah.
downs
Yeah. I
in this
get that a
process.
lot. People are like, oh, I have like a temporary, a rash or something. And a lot of people are like, I don't see how you do this all the time. And I'm like, yeah, welcome.
Right? Exactly. So, if I go back to the question about the 3 tips to help manage that anxiety and depression. So myself as a therapist, the way I work, I love being an eclectic therapist. And what that kind of means is that I practice from different therapeutic modalities. And, I have a toolbox of different types of therapies. And I feel like in each of these therapies, there's really great strategies that I can share. So I'm going to share a little bit of strategies from different toolboxes. So the first one, so maybe let me just go through the 3. One is interrupting a shame spiral, and that comes from a CBT approach. The other one is about regulating your nervous system, and that's from more of a somatic therapy approach. And lastly, incorporating self-compassion practices, and that comes from self-compassion therapy. So let me kind of step back a little bit and kind of explain each one so our viewers understand a little bit, and hopefully some of these insights can help them. And, just a personal note, as I said before, I'm currently in my own healing flare up at the moment. So I have to practice what I preach. And so some of the things I'm saying to you tonight, I'm also doing it for myself. So the first tip, interrupting the shame spiral. So this comes from cognitive behavioral therapy. And we use this word shame, and it's an important word that says we are connecting a belief about our identity. And in this case, it's a negative one, right? It's a negative thought that's coming up that we need to challenge. So something like, I look awful. Like, we internalize. It's like, oh my God, my skin looks awful. I don't look good today. I'm, right? All of these that internalizes the negative self-talk. So being able to identify that negative thought and then come about with a reframe. And when I say reframe, that's the tool CBT uses. It doesn't mean that just because here's something negative, you're going to pop something positive and it's going to balance itself out. No. A cognitive reframe is about saying something to yourself that you believe in, that your mind, that your heart knows is actually true. So, when you're trying to reframe something where, oh, my skin looks awful, to, oh, I look pretty, are you really going to believe it? Right? So we need to put something else that knows it's real. So something like, maybe my skin is going through something right now. But just because it's going through something doesn't make me less worthy. Well, okay, that's believable. And that's a better self-talk message than, oh, my skin is awful, I'm horrible, right?
Person or yeah.
Right? So really trying to catch that spiral and feed yourself with just understandable self-compassion in those phrases. Something else that you could do is maybe, here's like a journal prompt that you can do. So, what have I been told about my skin that has shaped how I see myself? What have I been told about my skin that has shaped how I see myself? Now, this is an interesting one because we just talked about it earlier, where a lot of people have passed judgment on how we look, how our skin shows up. And when we challenge those beliefs, guess what? We're going to figure out, is that actually true? Right? Or is this someone else's perspective or judgment or misinformation about what we're experiencing? Right? So I think that's really important, to be able to look at the internalized beliefs that we've gotten from everybody else and start to reshape it into our own voice and our own needs. Is there anything that you want to add to that, Chi? That I'm going to go into the second one about regulating your nervous system.
I think no, that I wrote that down in the comments because that's something that I think is really, really like it's one thing to journal, but then it's another thing to like maybe have more of a targeted prompts, like prompts that can really help you, kind of like guide you into a deeper, healing journey. So I think that's a really good journal prompt. What have I been told about my skin that can shape how I see myself?
Mm-hmm.
And I think us just sharing our stories and coming together as community and learning that is not rare and that you're not the only person. I know I was, for the longest, was the only person in my family and my immediate surroundings that had severe eczema. When I started my topical steroid withdrawal journey, I really didn't see anyone around me going through that either. So it's really nice to know that you're not alone. There's even research out there that has not been done about your skin or what you're going through, the conditions that you're dealing with, the symptoms that you're dealing with. So there's a lot of things that you've been told that maybe have altered your perception of yourself, and it's not
Exactly.
true.
Yeah. And then you taking back control, the self-validation, and coming up with your personal story that is your truth. It's so important that we take back, reclaim our skin story, right?
Right.
So the second prompt is not prompt. Second tip is regulating your nervous system. It is so important in this skin health journey because when the amounts of stress that we go through day in and day out, it is a causative effect on our skin, and it can like create inflammation and things like that. And so we want to be mindful and ground ourselves daily if we can. 10 minutes of sort of deep breathing, releasing tension. This kind of comes from the somatic therapeutic approach that our body holds stress and that we need to create space to release that stress. And when we do, the healing process speeds up for us. And so we really need to be mindful of this. And guess what? When you're releasing that stress, you're releasing the anxiety as well, right? There's a lot of anxious energy that sits in us, and we want to be able to sort of, do different types of movements. Chi, I've seen on your page where, you are actively moving through dance and running and going and being in nature. And that's a lot of grounding activities that you do for yourself and for your health of your skin. So those
Yeah.
are excellent practices.
I often say, it's for me, it's really, people ask me all the time, what do you do for your skin? What do you do for your skin? My biggest healing modality is centering around my central nervous system. Like
Mm.
that's how I target some of my symptoms. If I'm having inflammation, I'll go get an ice pack. The first thing before I put any type of topicals or take any type of medicine, I get an ice pack because I want to calm down my central nervous system to help the inflammation, to help me not scratch so much. And then I go
Mhm.
from there. But my first plan of action is like, let me calm down, let me catch my breath, let me not freak out. Even if I have like, you know, when you're going through TSW, sometimes those flares can grow in real time. And it's really important to like stay calm, even in like a really chaotic situation. So it's,
That's
I,
right.
yeah, yeah, you're
And
like
it's,
getting
if
red.
you know, you know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you're like, this
It's
is not
yeah.
good.
Of course it's easier said than done, but it's part
It
of the
is, and it
process
takes
for sure.
practice like anything. It takes practice. It's almost like a lifestyle, but I tell people all the time, if I'm around a stressful environment, if I'm around a stressful person and stressful energy, I can't, it's not good for my health.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
can't.
And you know what, Chi, I also went through it just recently, like talking about the skin flare up, and it was layers of things that just of stress that just piled up. And then the sun hit me, and I was in active flare up. My arms were red and swollen. And like Serena, you said, easier said than done. And I just had to remember, okay, breathe, regulate my nervous system because it was making me really nervous that, wow, like this is happening. And you literally see your skin is so red and
Yeah.
swollen and heated to the touch, right? And
Yes. Yes.
oh, it just, you just have to kind of sit there, close
Yeah.
your eyes and
It's hard
recenter.
not to freak out, when your skin is active, activated like that.
Yeah, yeah. So I love that ice pack tip as
Ice.
well.
Yeah. I love ice
Mhm.
packs.
And that kind of brings me into the third tip of self-compassion. So practicing those types of practices, which, I want to talk about compassionate skincare practice. And so exactly what she said, being able to nurture and care for your skin in the way it needs you to care for it. So many times we think of caring for our skin in this perspective as a fix it. Oh my God, I need to fix the skin. I need to fix this. It's like we have the fix it mentality. And I want to invite you all to, really land on a healing mentality, right? Start to create your compassionate skincare routine as a, bringing in affirmations like you're rubbing your nice lotion onto your skin and saying, I deserve this loving lotion even when my skin is flaring up, I deserve this. Actually, I have something very interesting. It's a little feather here. And the feather is an insignia of my brand. It means, feather means peace. But I'm inviting it into your self-care practice because it's as much as we know that our skin takes a beating with the scratching and the bruising that happens. I invite you to take something soft and, just subtle and just smooth it across your face and feel the gentleness, because for once our skin deserves the softness. And when you feel that a feather and that softness in the therapeutic world, it is a therapeutic practice. It's called self-soothing. And when you can our skin deserves so much self-soothing. We definitely need this because it gets punished a lot with the scraping and the scratching and the itching, that it deserves that self-care. So I kind of invite that type of compassionate practice in. Lastly, with the compassionate thing, I would invite you all to write a compassionate letter to yourself. And the letter is not going to be from yourself. It's going to be from the perspective of a loved one writing it to you. Because we actually don't know how to show up for ourselves too many times, but we definitely know how to show up for everyone else. And so if you write this letter from that perspective, you're going to see that your best friend or your sister or, whoever that loved one is, will shower you and pour the praises of all the strengths that you have that are, makes you more than your skin, right? So
Yeah.
practicing that kind of compassion for yourself. So those are the 3 tips, right?
Yeah.
So, breaking that spiral of shame, regulating the nervous system, and introducing self-compassion practices into your skincare routine.
I love that. And I didn't know that it had a name to it, you know, like you do certain things to bring softness and, to just, I know personally, like me, I'll try whatever I need, whatever my body's, guiding me to try to make sure that I can find healing. So it's really nice to sometimes put a name to some of these, like, me getting an ice pack could be a part of my compassionate skincare routine.
Right.
That could be something that just brings me comfort and compassion and brings softness, and the feather, I've never even thought of that. That's
Mhm.
such a great tip.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
what I tell my clients is that so many times we're already doing things, but we're just not aware of how
We're doing it.
healthy coping it provides to us, right? So it's self-awareness,
It's
self-awareness.
self-awareness. Yeah. And our third question is, why is stress management so important for the mind body connection?
Super important.
hmm So again, going back to my therapy world, one of the first things we learn is that there's a biopsychosocial model. And those are 3 elements that make up us as a human being. There's our biological self, our psychological self, and our social self. And I know they term it biopsychosocial model. I love to call it the Trinity of self. It just feels so whole. And when we think about stress starts to show up in each of those lanes, if you think about it. And when each of those lanes are stressed out, our psychological self, our physical self, our social self, well, it's going to impact that sort of internalized levels of our holistic system. It's going to go into fight or flight. We're going into survival mode. And so it's so important to manage our stress so that we don't go into these survival modes. Because what does the survival mode do for the skin? Well, it starts to inflame the skin. It starts to create the flare-ups. It takes a longer healing process to kind of get us to where we want to be. So again, going back to the tips that I, suggested earlier, when you regulate the nervous system and bring calmness in those three lanes, learning to sort of physically take care of your skin, but also move your body to calm the stress signals of the cortisol levels that are like spiking, and you want it to bring it into sort of even keel, to psychologically help your self-worth, to diminish the shame that you feel about your skin. All those can be such stressful thoughts. And then socially, I think this is one of the things that we didn't really get to capture tonight, but bringing it into the conversation, again, we are here in a social space, sharing our stories, sharing the tips and important information to help all of us heal
Yeah.
our skin, right? So when we show up for one another and we start to normalize this conversation, that's a very big healing thing. And it does help calm some of our stress, because we're like, oh my God, we're not alone.
Yeah.
We're
We're
in
not alone.
community together.
Yeah. Yeah. That was really big. That was really big
Mhm.
in my journey, just knowing that I'm not alone. And I think just hearing you speak about the Trinity, I think when I started healing, I just thought physically, right? I was just thinking I need to get my skin back to a baseline. I need to get my skin better. It needs to look better. It needs to feel better. I feel very ill. I feel sick, and I was just really like, oh, I need to get it better, but really not understanding the biosocial part of it. And so I think it's really important to understand that, there's different pillars and different ways that you can pour into your skin, and it's not just all about the physical aspect.
Mhm.
It's not just about,
Absolutely.
there's a lot of mental healing and mental stimulation and social healing that can go into promoting some of your healing. And I think that's something that I'm really connected to now in my
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah. Love the skin that you're in, inside and out, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know many of you here today are also parents and caring for a child with different skin diseases, and it can be heartbreaking. And so we just want you guys to know that if you are a parent, if you are a child care, a provider for someone living with eczema or topical steroid withdrawal, we see you and you're definitely not alone. And we're planning future lives specifically for parents and caregivers. So please DM any of us, or comment topics you want us to cover, for any of our future lives that's specifically for parents and caregivers.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Um, do we want to open it up for any potential?
Yeah, let's open it up for any questions, comments, or any. That would be great. Okay, so there's a space for caregivers and parents. And if you have a question, you can pop it in here if you have like a, anything that you're specifically wondering about, or that would be great for us
Anything
to cover,
in the future?
or any question that those who have been in the live may have for myself, for Sarina, for Shanti. Um, this is the time. I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
that you feel heard.
My daughter is 6 years old, so I was wondering if this is safe for her. Absolutely. So our Phoilex Relief Gel is safe for all ages, scalp to toes. So you are definitely able to use it on your 6-year-old.
Mhm.
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah. Because so many of us who's gone through this journey, it has started in childhood, right?
Yeah.
And for
Oh,
the,
absolutely.
yeah, that child who's just, they don't get it. They're just itching away, and it's really
Yeah.
hard to help your children and see them suffer like that, and going
I
through that.
think
So, I'm glad the product is safe for kids.
Me too. I recommend it to everyone.
Thank
I
you.
really do. I'm like, this is what you need. Here. So good.
Well, thank you. I think nobody else has any questions at the moment. Thank you all for joining us. I appreciate everybody that's. Oh, we have another question. Tips for calming that itch panic attack early on.
Mm.
My biggest tip, my really, and I will live by this, is regulating your breath, maybe doing a countdown, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, making sure you get into the breath, get an ice pack, and get into a comfortable position, put on some soothing music. For me, I just really have to calm. And once I can calm, I can think of the next thing to do without panicking and thinking that I have to scratch when that itch attack happens.
I second that because that's exactly what I did when I had the flare up come up. And it was so intense, and I could feel my heart racing. And I really had to just center back into my breath. And distract is a really good thing too. Like I would put some music on, and I, started to try to have conversations with someone else to
Yeah.
really like get my mind off of it. And
Yeah.
as soon as I could like hit a cold shower, and just ease and calm the inflammation, really helped.
Yeah.
We have another question. How long did it take you to get through TSW? I think, Chi, you can answer this one, but also going back to my experience and my dad, the truth is, I don't actually know how long he was going through TSW for because I didn't know what TSW was. He was going through like burning skin for a really long time, and I noticed that his mental and his physical was like getting a lot worse. He wasn't getting time off work. I noticed him going kind of through a depression, like his mood changing. And that's really what sparked Phoilex. So after doing a lot of research and the help of John and everybody on my team, I actually found itsan.org, which is the International Topical Steroid Association. And when I found them, I was like, oh my God, like we are going through something that's completely different than his psoriasis. So, in regards to his journey, when we started essentially using the products with him. It took him about 2 years to fully get through that cycle because it would get worse and the burning at times would get worse and it'd get better. But he stuck through it, and it's part of the reason why we're here today. So that's my experience with you guys for the TSW part.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Um, And I wish I would have known about Foilex way sooner. um, there was not a lot of products that I even felt comfortable using for TSW. So it took me a good 5 years to get to where I am now. I know that number is very different for everyone. And I know the journey varies for everyone as well. But yeah, I've been 5 years now. And this is the fifth year, and this is the best year that I've ever felt health wise. I really feel like I'm returning to self. So, and my skin
Yeah,
pigmentation is ever, I get commented all the time. It's crazy. I can't
that
believe
it's
it. People,
healing.
yeah,
That
people are
it's,
like, oh my God, your skin, you're like, where are you from? What's your color? And I really feel like my skin's never looked like, I've never had my real pigmentation. And so
hmm.
now I really do. I feel like I shed. I feel like a snake. I feel like I really shed all that skin, and now I have like a new layer of skin.
Wow,
Well,
that's so
that's
beautiful
amazing.
to hear.
It's
Yeah,
crazy. It's
yeah.
crazy
And it's also crazy too, like for people that don't know that TSW is a thing and they don't even know that they're going through
that are
TSW.
going through
So
it. Yeah.
I think the education on saying like if your skin's not getting better and you feel that
Yeah.
whatever you're using is making you more red, more
Or
itchy,
yeah.
more comfortable, like please ask somebody some more
Let's talk
questions.
about
You
something
may not
different.
need eczema, psoriasis anymore. You may be going through like you may be going through you're just
Something
getting
else.
something else. It could
Yeah. Yeah.
that it's not working for you, what you're doing,
Yeah.
etc. So, we all have to find out in our own way. So ask questions. Don't be scared to ask questions. I think that's really important. Some people are just they're told something and they go by it and they're scared to ask some questions. Don't be scared to ever ask questions. It's your body, your skin. Always
Yeah.
be really open with that.
Yeah. And about learning more about eczema and the general conditions and eczema, there's 7 different types of eczema. So I don't know if everyone knows that. I know itsin.org has a lot of information on TSW. Phoilex has Phoilex.com, a lot of information about eczema and TSW. Also, National Eczema Association. I think it's, I don't know the website.
I think
Is
they're
it, is it NEA.org or?
yeah, there's international.org, I think it is. Uh,
Okay.
somebody can drop in the chat if they
National
know
Eczema Association has a lot of information about eczema as well, and just going over the different types, because I get a lot of questions about, oh, do I have eczema? And someone's showing me a picture, and I'm like, well, I have atopic dermatitis, which is one
Right.
type of eczema, but then there's other types. So it's really good to know that, because I think we generalize eczema so much that we all think it's like one thing, and there's
Yes.
different types of eczema. So definitely check out some of those resources, and share it with your friend as well. And it could be a great hubs for support.
Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. I think this wraps up the live. Thank you to everybody who was on here, who joined, who listened, who asked questions. I'm excited to do this again, and hopefully, this is a series of many. And um, next series, hopefully, or maybe about children and parents and families that are going through this. So, thank you. Send us a DM for future series. And I hope everybody has a great night and enjoys the rest of their week.
Thank you, Sarina.
Thank you
Thank you,
guys
Chi. It
so
was an
We
honor
will
much.
see
being here
you in
tonight.
2 weeks at the NEA in Arizona, right? You'll
We
be
will
there?
see.
Yes. Okay, great. Had to drop that in
I
there.
know we have Eczema Expo coming up, which is so fun every year. It's really
Oh,
amazing.
Awesome. Okay.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so
thanks everyone
much
for
Thank
joining.
to both of
you.
you guys for putting this on and having me.
Okay, bye.
Thank
Bye.